We're back. Oh, yeah, with a special report, too. I know. I got the Jolly Rancher tonight, and we're talking shit about Democrats and how freaky and creepy they are. Oh, it sounds like a perfect Monday night to me, but let's get into it. So earlier today, Indy Star, and if you subscribe to Indy Star, if you don't and you want to read the articles and you have a VPN, just set it to Europe. You can read all the articles then for free. So anyway, Hala Colombo and Kayla Dwyer put out an article today talking about Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor and the sexual harassment allegations. Now, if you go through this article, you will see that he's been doing this for a while. And even on here, Taylor first elected by his Senate peers as Minority Leader back in 2020. But he is accused by 3 women of sexual harassment. Indy Star reported on Monday. And the allegations involve 2 instances of unwanted physical contact and a sustained romantic pursuit of an intern. Now, if you read the article, one of them's kind of freaky, and I feel bad. Obviously, I feel bad for all the women that have to deal with any of this stuff. So one of them they were talking about was where like he kind of pinned the girl up against the wall, or like made sure that she can't go anywhere, and like grabbed her by the waist, if I remember right. Very creepy, very unfortunate. You know, this is what happens when certain people are in power and they just want to abuse that power. And if you remember earlier this year, there was also another senator that accused of sexual harassment. His name is David Niezgotsky? Mike Wazowski? I don't know. But anyway, I want to just read this article real quick. Democrats maintained a breathtaking lack of curiosity when the accused father said he watched Senator David Mike Wazowski enter his daughter's house uninvited in June of 2017. The father has been trying for years to convince anyone to take seriously what happened to his daughter. So apparently Democrats have been hiding this situation, this guy, for a while. If you go through the article and you read a little bit more about it, you'll see that Senator David was blowing up her phone, sending her text messages, even was telling her that he loved her. Very creepy stuff. Very creepy old guy stuff. Shame on you, David. Stop being a freak. Stop. Why are there so many Justin Moeds out there? Next thing we're going to hear is that this guy was shoving random things up his ass, just like Justin Moed, and wanting to watch his girlfriend get banged by some random dude while he was tied up in the closet and having to listen. That's true, by the way, Justin. So anyway, going back to the article, this involves 2 instances of unwanted physical contact, like I said. But today was very interesting because there was a vote of who was going to be the Senate Minority Leader. And once this article came out, there was an Indy Chamber breakfast thing where they're going to talk about what was going on with the legislative session next year. And Greg Taylor wasn't there, and he was scheduled to speak. Didn't show up. Very interesting. But here, you're probably wondering, like, why are we even talking about this? Because it's the aftermath of what happened after he got voted to be leader again. Very crazy. So there were a few other positions got changed over. Kerry Hamilton was the assistant minority leader last year. This year, it is Andrea Hunley. And then the caucus chair last year was J.D. Ford. Now it is Randy Paul. I mean, pretty sure they're both gay, right? I think Paul, I forgot what his name is, Paul, but I think they're both gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I think Hunley got voted in because from what I understand, she's going to be running for mayor in the next time. And this basically guarantees that she's going to get a shitload of money from certain people so she can win the primary. Because as far as I know, now it's Ryan Mears, it's Vop Osley, and now it's Andrea Hunley that will be running for mayor of Indianapolis. It's just going to turn into another shit show. Indianapolis is going to get worse. But the best part is the aftermath of it. Now, the Senate Democratic Caucus did put out a statement, and it's basically, like I said on here, it's a copy-paste apology from HR, and people will still vote for Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor did have a election this year. He ran unopposed, so automatically he's going to win. And here's the deal, too. No matter how crappy your legislator is, like Justin Moed, you're still going to vote for him because in blue cities, people want their city to be shit. And that's just the truth. They don't want it to be like the outside counties. They don't want Marion County to be like Hamilton or Johnson County or Hendricks, where the roads are good. There's less crime. There's less issues you have to worry about. No, no, no. They want Marion County to be a shithole. And they're always going to vote for these freaks every single time. They could literally sacrifice a living baby in the middle of Monument Circle. In fact, that would probably gain them points. So Kayla Dwyer puts this out. A few other things, but you go and check out her Twitter. I don't like anybody from IndyStar, so it doesn't matter. Caitlin Lang, who's probably one of the like the least of IndyStar because she's the government and politics editor, mostly because of kind of how dopey she is and how bad of a job she did during this election for interviews. Basically, IndyStar sucks is the worst publication there is. They didn't want to interview anybody from Indianapolis, which is funny because I've said this before. If you have the word indie in your media publication, in the name of your media publication, you should be interviewing people that are representing Indianapolis. If you don't, you're doing a shitty job, which is what Caitlin Lang is doing, a shitty job. So anyway, she puts out there some updates to the story. We know now that at least one lawmaker, Senator J.D. Ford, who voted against keeping Senator Taylor, the rest did not respond. And a state party put out a release emphasizing that it has no role in electing caucus leadership at the state house, which I thought was weird. So I asked, then who votes them in? This was actually the funniest thing. It's wild to me that none of the four caucuses would share how many sexual harassment complaints they've received. Really? Really? It's wild to you? I'm sure there are like 1 million of sexual harassment complaints, but the reason why they don't want to say anything, which is like what happened with Senator David, was like, who's going to listen to him? First off, and what's going to be the consequence of it? Nothing. And look, we're seeing it again. This guy's what, like 2 or 3 times sexual harassment, and all he has to say now, Greg Taylor's like, hey, you know what, I made some mistakes, my bad, but you know what, Greg Taylor, you are still king, all right, because you are still the leader of the Senate minority. It's awful, it's terribly awful, but it's funny that he's still getting away with it. That's why I'm laughing, because the people still voted. Democrats still voted to keep him as the leader. They had the chance to take him off of the leadership position. And we're going to get to that in a second. But anyway, Nikki Cali, which is also one of the worst people ever, too. Awful at her job. Shelley Yoder. Oh, this was just 16 minutes ago. It is 7:24 right now. Also weighed in on the Greg Taylor situation. Let's see what Yoder has to say. One of the worst people ever. This is all just the typical HR crap. Hey, we don't like what we heard. Hey, we need to do better. Okay, how can we change it? Blah, blah, blah. And here it is. They call for ethics reform that will help victims come forward. This is exactly what happened with Thomas Cook and those 2 women that were part of the Hogshead administration. Oh, we just have to redo the sexual harassment stuff, and now they're looking into it. I'm going to be doing a video tonight on the investigative committee that happened last week, and my gut feeling right now is that nothing is going to happen from this, but during the video we'll talk about it. So Senator J.D. Ford did say that he did not vote to keep Senator Greg Taylor, which is very interesting that he publicly came out and said it. That means there's something going on, and I'd like to know what. J.D. Ford, if you're listening to this right now, if you're watching too, I salute you, all right? It takes balls to do something like this. Not to just vote no on keeping Greg Taylor, but to publicly say it. Well done, sir. And I know we have beef, which is fine because I have beef with everybody, but I would give you a gold star for this. Well done. Well done. Let's see. Not much else other than that. Other than it's like she was really surprised that he was voted in again. Yeah. And I'll talk about that here in a second too. But this, yeah, wow. Will the Senate Dems keep him in power? Yep. Totally did. And here is the worst piece of shit that works for IndyStar. This guy right here, Skinwalker James Briggs, one of the worst people ever. Plus, he blocked me like a bitch. Briggs, you fucking pussy. Stop blocking people that ever criticize you. So anyway, He's all mad about it. He's mad that Democrats lost too. He's like, this is what Indianapolis progressives minds. The day before Democrats got annihilated in the elections, they were worried about the Hamas stuff. You remember Jesse Brownstein, Officer Brownstein, had a proposal for a ceasefire at the council, and then all the Democrats gave him the middle finger and told him to shoo. It's so good. It's so good. And then, here he is right here. He's just seething a little bit. They were elected to Greg Taylor. Yeah, even without the story, it's stunning to me that Taylor has maintained his leadership position. He's been embarrassing his caucus for a long time. Every time he speaks, it's like a hockey player putting the puck in their own net. I love the infighting that is happening in the Democrat Party because you hardly ever see this. And the reason why is because they are a minority. There's not that many of them. So when you are a minority, usually the first rule is to make sure there's no infighting, at least publicly. And now that this is happening, tells me that they are so pissed off that they got annihilated in the election that they're like, we need a whole change of everything. Even the state party chairman, the black clergy, is asking him to step down because they didn't focus on enough black people in Indianapolis and all these blue cities. And they said they worry too much about the rural areas. Well, yeah, they're trying to win. That's why, dummy. Why wouldn't you? I mean, if the GOP would do better about trying to elect Republicans in Indianapolis, you know what? Things could get better. But instead, the clergy was like, no, we need to just maintain power. Like, listen, there are enough dopes in Indianapolis where they're never going to vote Republican. The whole place could literally be on fire, and they'll be like, nope, listen, still voting Democrat. Things will only get worse in Indianapolis. And that's because of people like Kayla Dwyer, James Briggs, Nikki Kelly, Caitlin Lang, all these propaganda artists. And I know you're watching this right now, and you're all pieces of shit, just to let you know. And I wouldn't have a problem telling that to your face, too. But I know all of you Democrats are cowards. You hate confrontation. So anyway, that's what's going on. From what I understand from my sources, this is only the beginning. From what I understand. Now, I don't know if they're telling me the truth or just blowing smoke up my ass, but this is just the one of a couple of people that will be getting reported on this week, allegedly. So if it does happen, that means my sources were right. If it doesn't, then they were just bullshitting me. But just to let you know of what's going on. So yeah, that's all I got. Very interesting stuff. I'll put the links on the video. Remember, if you have a VPN, just set it to Europe and you'll be fine. One of the best things about what Elon just did was Briggs have had me blocked for a long time, and now I can see everything that he posts instead of trying to log off and then checking it out. So well done for Elon. Now I can screenshot everything that old Skinwalker Briggs is posting and post it up on my Twitter. Yeah, so I think that's it. Until next time.